Okay. We're actually going to talk about that a little bit as part of the presentation, so if you want to stay to hear it, we will. Okay, thank you. Next, Daniel Sabo. Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Dan Sabo, and I was born and raised in Old Village and Plymouth Canton. I grad of 1978. Reason why I'm here tonight, I've been worried about Old Village for a long time and Starkweather School, so I'll just get right into it. Section 2.4 on page 25 of the February 10th Brownfield Redevelopment Authority minutes for the Starkweather School site indicates that the developer will be reimbursed $1.5 million over a several-year period via capture of tax increment revenues. Lead and asbestos survey and abatement costs estimated at $190,000 are noted. Given the Flint crisis, this raises the question of lead pipe and lead solder joints in the plumbing, and I'm wondering, are we talking about lead paint or lead water problem or both? But there was much said of transparency at the previous board meeting, and I'm thinking, I just think the people should know, what exactly is going on, because they're talking about taking a lot of lead and asbestos out of the building, and I just did some very quick numbers. I'm trying to go fast here because the school has a capacity of about 350 kids a year when you count all the rooms, and when you go back to 1927, that's 19,000 people, and I'm just thinking somehow maybe that information could be made public. In July of 1979, the board heard a report on asbestos. A company by the name of Industrial Testing Laboratories of Grand Rapids removed all detectable asbestos within a week throughout the entire district at a reported cost of $5,800. Other tests were done, and the board publicly verified that no harmful asbestos materials existed in the schools. The source I'm quoting is Sam Hudson's book, Michigan's 10th Largest, pages 176 and 222, in which he had access to all the information. But a couple of things I'm concerned about. When I was here January 13th, 2015, it was suggested to me that this housing project on the Starkweather School site was prearranged with City Hall before any public meetings occurred. And this suggests that there were Open Meeting Act violations. And I was also told by a board member here that according to the purchase agreement, either party could withdraw for any reason. City assessor swore on the public record August of last year that the building is functionally obsolete property. If the building can be repurposed for apartment complexes by obtaining brownfield funding, then the school district could have done same to make sure the building was safe, and it still can by obtaining brownfield revolving loan funds from the EPA as well as HUD funding and other sources to transform the site into affordable community housing, a community building with a fitness center or a community garden, open space preserved, as Kansas City, Missouri did to clean up the former Horace Mann School, a site in the historic neighborhood. Or new higher teacher housing, as Santa Rosa, California is doing. Better yet, obtain funds to modernize the school building for education, thus preserving the open space for public use. I think this would have been cheaper than purchasing property and building a new school somewhere else, because there's much talk of the deficit. But the main reason why I wanted to bring this up is I'm concerned, can Plymouth remain as a historic town? I don't think it can if all the schools are shutting down. Schools make a city, and without schools, all that is left is a congested downtown area with parking garages, stores, demolished historic homes, housing projects taking over 2-century-old historic neighborhoods. The deal was crafted from the beginning.
Mr. Sable, I'm going to just ask you to wrap up
Okay.
if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm just asking the board to withdraw or recraft the purchase agreement, start from scratch, be transparent with the public as to how the property is used, hold open, transparent meetings, and I'm just asking to take another look at this purchase agreement, because once that housing project goes in, I think the same thing that's happening in downtown Plymouth is going to happen in Old Village. So thank you very much.
Go ahead. I was just going to say.
Yeah, I'd just like to take issue with I think there were some insinuations that this Board of Education has violated the Open Meetings Act with respect to the Starkweather purchase. And I can tell you I haven't, and I give my board colleagues a chance to chime in, but I think it's a disservice to the community to say that. The process to sell the Starkweather property was full compliance with the law. It was an open process where various entities had an opportunity to bid. We thought the board, I think all believed that we got a fair price for the property, and that from a community development point of view it balanced the needs of the school district and the needs of the community. I've lived here all my life, and I've been on the board. Well, Sam Hudson's book was written way before I was on the board, and that started in 1995. So I don't know what was in his book. I don't know what the board did back in the 70s and 80s, which is, I think, the end of the time period that Sam wrote that book. And he's gone now, so we can't ask him. But I just want to make it real clear.
Right.
I've been involved in this for a long time, and as far as Open Meeting Act violations and compliance with the law on property sales, our district's been squeaky clean.
No, I don't need to say anything. I was just going to say that, and as well as note that the sale had already closed, and so that's where we were. If anybody else wants to say anything, they can.
Yeah, Mr. Sabo, the sale actually closed last week, and we've received the money for the full purchase price, and so the property owner now owns that building, and everything is going through the city of Plymouth at this point.
Okay. Next up is Scott Milan. Did I say the name right? Okay.
Hello.
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you.